Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody has had a great week and is looking forward to an even better weekend, staying healthy and staying strong. This is a members chat class. Everybody is welcome to watch, of course. We will have an all chat class coming up in about 90 minutes, which will be writing task 1. In this case, we are looking in this class at writing task 2, and we are going to be working on a band 9 writing composition that we started yesterday. Welcome, Carolina, our moderator. While we wait for some of our members to get in the class, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com. That's academicenglishhelp.com. For your academic IELTS needs to prepare for your exam, visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com, where we have lots of help, including editing services to improve your writing, give you some feedback, and of course we have lesson videos, practice exams, and an interactive course for all sections of the IELTS. Welcome, Arda. I'll quickly show you those websites. This is our academic IELTS website here with the blue background. You can click this big red button to join our premium package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. It also gives you access to our full app for your mobile phone. The general IELTS version looks like this with the green background. Click that big red button to join us there. We are an official British Council IELTS Test Registration Center and certified agents, so you're in good hands with us. We're always up to the latest procedures of the IELTS exam. Welcome, Nikhil. We've started a new channel. It's a little bit different. It's for fitness. It's good to be fit for IELTS. Regular exercise is a great way to maximize your thinking and your brain performance. And that channel is called Fun Run. We'll touch on that a little bit more in today's lesson. There's a connection there, so check that out. Maybe Carolina can give us a link for that in the chat. And then I can pin it. If anybody has questions about the IELTS or about English, or hey, maybe even about fitness, you can send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com and I will gladly answer your inquiries in short notice. Thank you, Carolina, for that link. We have more classes tomorrow as well. So today we have the writing classes, task 2 right now, and then task 1 after. And tomorrow, members, we will have a question and answer session. That's for members every couple of weeks. So if you have some questions that come up during your studies, make sure to write those down. Tomorrow will be a great day to ask me those questions, and then we will have a speaking part 3 for everyone as well. So more classes, look forward to that. Now let's get into today's writing lesson. Here we go. So this was the question that we started yesterday. We will just review this nice and quick, and then we'll get into writing body paragraphs and the conclusion. So the question yesterday was IELTS Task 2 writing. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Many people believe that physical fitness is essential for academic performance. How does exercise benefit school performance, and what can people do to maintain a regular fitness routine? So it's a two-part question, and usually you should write 4 to 5 paragraphs for the IELTS exam. 4 is enough as long as your body paragraphs are well developed. Okay. So we identified the topic and controlling idea of this question. It was connection between fitness and academic performance. The controlling ideas were the ways in which fitness aid learning and the ways in which this can be maintained. And then we applied some critical thinking. We came up with some good ideas that we're going to use in our essay today. And finally, we composed our introductory paragraph. And this is what our introductory paragraph looks like. So our introductory paragraph has a hook, a background, and a thesis. When you are going for that band 7, 8, 9 essay, you need to do a lot more than just paraphrase the question and tell your reader that this essay will discuss these points. That's a weak introduction. For band 7, 8, 9, the examiners are looking for a strong introduction based on standard essay writing rules for high school, college, and university. And for that, your introduction needs to have a hook, a background, and a thesis. All right. So here we go. The hook, something clear and simple that's stating the topic of the question. Modern science has proven a strong connection between exercise and learning. Background, the brain is a biological machine which needs to be healthy in order to perform optimally, and this is essential for students' success throughout their school years. And then the thesis, regular physical exercise is vital for school performance as it not only aids concentration, but also stamina. And a regular workout routine can be maintained by scheduling and prioritizing it. Okay, good. So what this tells your reader is that your body paragraph will be about the benefits of exercise for learning, which are concentration and stamina. So that's going to be your body paragraph 1. Okay, and then your body paragraph 2 will be about how to maintain regular exercise, and that's scheduling and prioritizing. So you basically have your points there. Now, if you were to write a really long essay for university, you could break this into body paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, but because it's the IELTS, 2 body paragraphs are enough in this case. You need that 250 word minimum. Band 7, 8, 9 essays are closer to 300, 350 words. I've talked to many IELTS examiners, and they have all told me that it is very, very rare that a 250 word task 2 will get a band score over 7. Okay, so keep that in mind. Even though the task says minimum 250 words, it's very tricky, very difficult to give enough detail in 250 words to get a band 8 or a band 9. Okay? All right. So let's get going on this, members. Let's do this. Let's get into body paragraph 1. Now, body paragraphs, generally speaking, will always start with a topic sentence. Okay? So topic sentence, and the topic sentence, what is that, members? What should a topic sentence be? Okay, so keep this in mind, practice this. What is a topic sentence? What should it include? It's very clear, and you should have a great ability to write a topic sentence before you try to advance your writing into more complex kinds of literature and writing strategy. So these are the fundamentals that you will need for your university studies as well. So if you're not familiar with these, you definitely want to learn and review these, especially if you're going into social sciences like psychology, political science, law, because you will be writing a lot of essays, and the essays will make up a big part of your course mark. Okay, in universities in the UK, Australia, Canada, it's very common that many of your courses will have half of your mark from essays. Okay. So Carolina says, introduce your first point of the thesis. Yeah, absolutely. So your topic paragraph is an introduction of your first thesis point. And how does it introduce that first thesis point? So it's topic sentence is the first thesis point presented how? Okay. Akshay says it's an overview of the body paragraph. Kind of, Akshay. I guess you could say it that way. There is a little bit of a clearer way to say it. Nikhil says it's a definition of the introduction of the first idea. Yeah. So, Nikhil, another way to say that is it's the first thesis point presented in more detail from... or let's say with a paraphrase. Absolutely. So from the perspective of the writer. Okay. So here, for example, in our first point, we have the word concentration. Okay. So how would you define that in the context of learning and exercise? Okay, so how would you define the concept of concentration in more detail in this topic sentence in the context of exercise and learning? So let's not worry about stamina just yet. So don't worry about stamina. Just focus on concentration. So how would you define concentration? Okay, so Arda says to be able to focus. Okay, absolutely. All right. Yeah. And Arda says clearly. Akshay says human beings need high mental and physical strength in order to achieve high educational performance. Akshay, that would not be a good topic sentence because you are just generally restating the topic of the entire introductory paragraph. You're not actually presenting your first point. So in that sentence, Akshay, you don't have any information about concentration or stamina. Okay? Mohit says, fitness has been considered as an essential part of life and often it is correlated with the role to improve brain learning capabilities and its ability to focus. Okay, Mohit, you do mention focus in your topic sentence, but all of the rest of what you're writing is kind of like Akshay. It's just general to the introduction. So the body paragraph has to be more focused. Okay? Deepika, undistracted is awkward in this case. So having more focus is a little bit better. Okay? Rashika says regular exercise assists concentration on new concepts very well by providing good circulation to the brain and keeping people healthy and strong. Rashika, the reason why that topic sentence isn't all that great is because you're just repeating the word concentration. So your topic sentence definitely should not simply repeat the word concentration. You should at least use a synonym like focus. Okay. June says, to excel in academic performance, students need to focus on their schoolwork intensely with the help of regular physical exercise. Yeah, June, that's much better. Okay, so everyone, if you look at June's topic sentence, you will notice that that is a much more accurate definition of concentrating and connection to physical exercise. I'll start writing here as well, and then you'll notice this kind of topic sentence here. So regular physical activity enables the mind to stay calm and focused on intensive learning for prolonged periods of time without significant fatigue. Okay, so I've taken an extra step here and I've also included the deeper definition of stamina. Okay, so once you become confident in this ability, and this is of course where vocabulary does help. Okay, so this is where when you're practicing at home, you want to look up synonyms and more vocabulary to use. Okay, so have a look at this. Regular physical activity enables the mind to stay calm, right? So when we do exercise, and I'm sure all of you have experienced this at some point, it's just much easier to relax, to be in the present, to stay calm. You're not jumpy because you're not full of physical energy, right? You're full of mental energy at that point. So, or you're maybe full of physical energy, but your nerves are calm, right? So you're able to stay calm and focused on, as June said, intensive learning for prolonged periods of time. Prolonged periods of time means long hours or many hours, and that is the deeper definition of stamina. And then, of course, going into more definition, without significant fatigue. Fatigue means to get tired, okay? So does everybody see how this topic sentence is a deeper definition of concentration and stamina? Okay. So by the time your reader finishes your introduction and gets to this part of your body paragraph, here you're getting into enough definition and detail that your reader is really starting to visualize the content of what you're saying. So they can imagine a student who maybe just finished a run. Okay, they were on the Fun Run channel doing a run in Venice, Italy, or doing a fun run in another part of the world. And then they're sitting there and they're focusing on their school studies, perhaps studying vocabulary for the IELTS exam. Okay, so everybody sees that, hopefully. All right, so that's what we mean by topic sentence being a deeper definition of thesis point 1, concentration and stamina, and giving more definition. Okay, so now, after the topic sentence, you have an explanation. Okay. So, what should your explanation include? Okay. So, when you're thinking about explaining your topic sentence, okay, what should that include? Cal Lynn, good to see you in the class. All right, so topic sentence, explanation. What should your explanation include? So when you're thinking, okay, I've got my topic sentence, I've given a good, clear definition, I'm happy with this. If I were to read this, this would give me more of an idea. Now I need to explain this. So what's involved in a good explanation? Oftentimes when you're learning essays and you're learning in school, your IELTS teacher, your English teacher may say supporting point 1, supporting point 2, and yeah, that's okay. Sure, it is a supporting point, but we want to have a bit more clarity here. So what is that supporting point? And supporting point 1 is always your explanation, okay? You should explain your ideas. So Arda says it's the reasons of why should we exercise and how that impacts the brain function. Yeah, you're thinking about that, Arda. Nikhil says it's something that has quantitative and qualitative elements. Yes, absolutely, Nikhil. So an explanation should include... Now, qualitative, I'm not too worried about, Nikhil, because people generally tend to do that, but definitely quantitative. So it should include quantitative information. Quantitative meaning numbers, okay? So give your readers some numbers. We all go to school, we all learn numbers, we all take math class. We all agree on universal measurement systems like days, months, years, kilometers, liters. hours. So we all have these universal measuring systems. We all know numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 plus 1 is 2. So these allow us to have clarity when we use them in our explanations. So numbers and quantitative information is very good. And we should also think about one other type of information when we're giving explanations to create clarity. So quantitative information, absolutely. Rashika's on page as well. And what else? What's the other type of information that we should think about? Okay. Deebarak says, this is where we can use the how question to extend the idea of being defined in the topic sentence. Yes, Deebarak, or the why. Yeah, the why and the how, but without going into the example yet, Deebarak. But you're on the right track, certainly. Definitely. Rashika says comparative. I mean, that could be, depending on what the question is or what your paragraph is about. Very good, Nick Hill. So visual information. Okay, quantitative and visual. So those are the two, because that gives humans clarity. Okay, we as humans have much greater clarity when we have visual and quantitative information in our explanations. Okay, so let's do that. So regular physical activity enables the mind to stay calm and focused on intensive learning for prolonged periods of time without significant fatigue. Okay, sure. So what do you mean by that? Give me an explanation that includes both quantitative and visual information. Okay, so let me do that, all right? I'm going to write, you write, and then we will compare. Let's see what you come up with, okay? All right. So there is my explanation, okay? That's including all of those details. All right. Let's see what you've come up with. So Nick Hill says it has been proven, not it has been proved, okay? Nick Hill, you need to use the infinitive. So it has been proven that learners who are doing at least 30 minutes each day of physical activities can improve their productivity to get higher grades in their exam. However, students who are not working out get lower scores. So that's a comparative, Nick Hill, and it can work to include that that comparison. Good, it's not bad. Okay, I think you can do even more, but it's a great first step. Mohit says scientists have claimed that doing physical exercise 3 to 4 days a week can improve not only overall health of the body function and strengthen muscles, but it also enhances the competence of the brain. Mohit, you're off topic. We're not talking about building more muscle mass. Okay, so careful with that, not to go off topic. Also, Mohit, do not use the word your muscles and your overall health. As soon as you use the words you or your, it introduces what's called the second person voice of the author. And there's a very strict rule, okay? There's a very strict rule in essay writing that you should not mix voices. So if your essay is designed to be first person, it should be clearly a first person voice essay, I, me, my. If it's designed as a second person, like an instructional essay, then it should be you, your, yourself. And if it's a third person essay, then it has to be objective and not include those pronouns of I, you, and you should avoid pronouns like we and us. Okay, so those are very strict rules on voices of the author. Be very careful with that. Okay. Deepika says this is because it has been proven. This is because Deepika is wordy. Avoid that phrasing. Okay. So it has been proven. You can just start with it has been proven, Deepika. It has been proven that students who work out for a minimum of 30 minutes a day have improved focus and therefore better scores. Yeah, okay, Deepika, it's a little bit repetitive. You want to be going for more detail, okay? June says sporting activities aid to boost endorphins and dopamine levels in our brains, making us feel more relaxed, calm, and focused. Furthermore, aerobic exercise facilitates blood circulation and brings oxygen to the brain so that students can concentrate on their studies for 8 to 10 hours a day. Okay, June, very good. I made a couple of small corrections to make it even better. Instead of saying for a longer period, 8 to 10 hours a day. Okay, so give it a number. It will be even better. June, that's very good. You have some really good quantitative information. So boosting endorphin and dopamine levels is quantitative because we can measure endorphin and dopamine levels in the body, right? And also increased oxygen in the brain. We can also measure that. So that's another kind of quantitative information. All right, very good. So this is my explanation here. When students engage in 1 hour of daily cardiovascular exercise, such as running and swimming, they can gain the ability to study for 8 to 10 hours a day without being distracted by friends and entertainment. Okay. So here, what I'm doing is giving quantitative information. Notice how because it's task 2, I'm using words for numbers 1 to 10. And you probably saw me correct that number 1 to the word 1. Okay. Again, that's just a standard rule in essay writing that when you're writing a persuasive essay, a narrative essay, or a descriptive essay, you should be using numbers 1 to 10. Expository essays like task 1, you can use the numbers, especially when you're explaining a graph or a chart. But for persuasive essays, use the words, okay? So here I have a complex sentence. It's a condition with time when students engage in 1 hour of daily cardiovascular exercise. Now, cardiovascular exercise, cardiovascular meaning your blood circulation, okay? It's this kind of vocabulary that will help to bump up your vocabulary score for your writing, okay? And then here, I do what's called an additive clause. So you notice that I put a comma here, and then I write such as running and swimming, comma. So comma on both sides, no space before the comma, okay? So comma on both sides, and here I'm including this piece to give further definition to cardiovascular exercise. Why am I doing that? So what am I doing when I include running and swimming? Okay, so we talked about this. So what am I doing when I include running and swimming here? Okay. So I have my quantitative information, 1 hour of daily cardiovascular exercise, and then here I'm writing running and swimming. I'm doing that because I want to give something else to my reader. What am I giving to my reader with this? Arda, it's details, yes, but what kind of details? So I'm not just simply doing it for details, I'm doing it for another purpose here. And again, it's going back to what we talked about, what's important for the explanation. So, yeah, exactly, Rajveer. There's Rajveer. Rajveer says visual details. Absolutely. So it's a visual detail, right? So instead of just thinking about cardiovascular exercise in general, this 1 hour, now we're actually visualizing a person running or a person swimming, right? So we have visual detail, right? And that's what I mean about quantitative and visual details, okay? So they can gain the ability to study for 8 to 10 hours, so some more quantitative information without being distracted by friends and entertainment, some more visual information, right? So quantitative visual, it's giving a lot of clarity for the reader, okay? All right, so now we want to include our example, okay? And when you're thinking about an example, what should you think about? So what is necessary for a good or a great example? What should you always consider? Okay, when you're thinking, okay, what do I write for my example? What should you really be thinking about? Okay, this is again a little bit of review for some of the regular students who have been with me for a while. Examples should always have this concept behind them to make them much more impactful. Okay, yeah, exactly. So Rashika says real world, so examples from real life. And Akshay, in this case, it's not your own experience because it's a third person essay, so this is not a first person. So when you're writing your examples here, keep in mind that this is a third person essay. So your example should be real world, okay? And it should create empathy with your readers. So real world and empathetic and elicit empathy. Okay, what I mean by elicit empathy is that your readers should go, oh yeah, of course, that happened to me in my life. Oh, I've done that. Or yeah, my friends do that all the time. Or yeah, I've seen people do that. Or oh yeah, I read a magazine article like that. Or I read that in the newspaper somewhere. Or oh yeah, I saw that in a documentary film. So when you create empathy with your reader, or sympathy in some cases, then your reader is much more likely to be convinced by your writing, okay? Because at the end of the day, that's your goal, for you to convince your reader of your ideas, right? So you want to have real world situations which elicit empathy with your reader, okay? That's what's going to work really well. All right? So you're going into even more detail, even into more specifics, more depth. So here, write a real world example, and then you can be creative here. You can be imaginative. It doesn't have to be the truth. In the IELTS, you don't have the ability to research academic journals. This is where in university, of course, you would have citation. You would have the ability to research a journal example. But in the IELTS, you can just get a little bit of creativity going. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll compare, okay? Okay. So here's my very specific example for this. A recent research study of 1,000 students in Australia revealed that learners whom engage in a minimum of 4 hours of weekly exercise not only spend at least 10 hours more on their studies, but also have an average of 1 point higher GPA. Okay, grade point average. So that is a very specific example. Notice how I didn't write like in the New York Times or according to a research Chicago group. You can do that. I just went with a recent research study of 1,000 students in Australia. Okay, that's another way that you could do it. All right. Arda, again, not a first-person essay. So for instance, my best friend Tom from my school would be jumping to a first-person voice. You don't want to do that in this case, okay? So you want to keep your example a third-person example. We're writing a third-person essay here, okay? Yeah, thanks for that. Deepika, okay? Rashika says, nowadays school curricula include subjects like physical activity, considering this concept for many countries such as Sri Lanka. Rashika, you're going into another discussion there about including physical activity in school curriculum to help learning. That is parallel with this essay, but it's not this essay question. So you're going off topic. You have to be very careful, Rashika. Okay. Nick Hill says, for instance, since 100 students go on a daily run and do meditation for 45 minutes each day, they can study more than 8 hours without getting stressed and getting higher scores. Nick Hill, not bad. I'm not sure where meditation comes in. Meditation is mental exercise. Here we're focusing on physical exercise. So you have to keep focused on physical exercise. Okay? All right. June, same thing here. So this is a third-person essay. You're writing a first-person example. Students, be very, very clear on first-person voice essays, second-person voice essays, and third-person. You do not want to mix these voices. It becomes really awkward for your reader. So they're reading about some general ideas, some general truths, and then suddenly you're talking about your brother or your friend. It's like, whoa, where did that come from? Okay, so you have to be very careful. Your voice is usually introduced in the introductory paragraph. If you introduce the first person voice in your introduction, like I believe or in my opinion, then you can use the first person voice throughout the essay, or you should. If you don't introduce this, then you should not suddenly switch to that first person voice, okay? All right. Okay, so now we want to do the same for body paragraph 2. And so here you can write a concluding or connecting sentence if you wish. You can get a very high band score in the IELTS exam without writing a connecting or concluding sentence necessarily, as it's a shorter essay, but you could write something simple here to connect. So certainly many studies such as this have proven the impact of exercise on learning performance. Okay, so going back to that topic sentence. So keep your connecting, concluding sentences simple. And when you're practicing at home, review your body paragraph before you go to the next body paragraph, okay? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to review this, make sure that it makes sense. So regular physical activity enables the mind to stay calm and focused on intensive learning for prolonged periods of time without significant fatigue. When students engage in 1 hour of daily cardiovascular exercise, such as running and swimming, they can gain the ability to study for 8 to 10 hours a day without being distracted by friends and entertainment. A recent research study of 1,000 students in Australia revealed that learners whom engage in a minimum of 4 hours of weekly exercise not only spend at least 10 hours more on their studies, but also have an average of 1 point higher GPA. Certainly, many studies such as this have proven the impact of exercise on learning performance, have proven I would add the word, if I were to review this, to add further clarity, the positive impact of exercise on learning performance. So there's your body paragraph. And once you have this, then it should start to become systematic. Okay, so your next body paragraph is the same concept, but with your second thesis point. Okay, so body paragraph 2. Body 2, same thing. So you have a topic, sentence, you have a clear explanation, and you have an example. Okay, so I'm going to write this body paragraph nice and quick. Members, do the same. So write this second body paragraph, topic, sentence, explanation, example. I'll look up at the chat to give you some feedback. Okay, the second body paragraph is focusing on the ability to maintain a regular exercise routine by scheduling and prioritizing. So by making it a high priority and by scheduling. So that should be your topic sentence definition. Okay, so write this. I'm going to write this. I'm not going to stop at each part of the body paragraph. I'm going to write continuously, and I'll keep looking up at the chat to see what you come up with and give you some feedback as well. Okay, so let's get going on this. All right, so okay. My topic sentence. So in order for pupils to achieve a regular exercise routine over the course of months and years, it is necessary both to have a timetable set for working out, as well as making it of the utmost importance regardless of other commitments. So obviously there's some vocabulary coming in here. I'm showing you that band 9 level of composition. So much deeper definition of scheduling, okay, and a much deeper definition of prioritizing. So making it of high importance regardless of other commitments, okay. So that's what students need to do. Now, we want to explain this, give it some quantitative and visual information, okay. So keep writing, students. As I said, I will look up at the chat and take a look at your topic, sentence, and explanations. Okay, so Okay, so I'm just going along with this. Again, when you're at home, you can continuously revise and improve what you're writing. All I'm doing here is just sticking to visual and quantitative information. So using tools such as Google Calendar or a wall calendar, a college student can indicate a block of time such as 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday to Friday for jogging and weight training. Importantly, even if they have distractions such as friends asking to go for coffee or breakfast, they must choose to stick to their exercise routine instead. Okay, so this is my visual quantitative explanation for this. Okay, June's topic sentence 2 here is the key to keeping up with regular fitness plan for years is making a proper timetable for daily workouts and keeping it at the top of the priority list, okay? And pinning it to the top of the priority list, just like I pin the Fun Run channel URL to the top of this chat. Yeah. Okay. Nick Hill says, although maintaining a regular workout routine for months and years is imperative, to have a proper timetable set and making it as the important task to implement each day. Nick Hill, you're on the right track, but you don't need although here. There's no opposition, okay? So this is complementary information, no opposition here. Okay, Devansh says to maintain a regular habit of exercising for students, not children. We're not talking about children, Devansh, we're talking about students. It must be made mandatory by educational policy to make this effective in the country. I don't know, Devansh. Careful with that. I think it's each individual's responsibility more than the government's. So careful not to go off topic here. Bringing the government into this or the educational institution, I don't think is that effective, okay? All right, Deepika says, to make an exercise routine, students should train their minds to prioritize it so that they can work out no matter how busy of a schedule they have. Okay, Deepika, that's not bad. Okay, you're on the right track. It's a little bit repetitive of your thesis. You always want more detail, okay, but you're on the right track, all right? Okay, so now comes the example, all right? So okay, now I'm going to think about connecting this example to my previous one in some ways, okay? So instead of saying millions of students worldwide, I'm going to change this to thousands of students in Australia, okay? Because my first example was dealing with a research study in Australia. So it's thousands of students in Australia have gym membership paid 6 months in advance, thousands of university and attend an hour of exercise regularly. Okay. So I'm making that connection. Making connections between the example of your body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2 will increase the level of coherence and cohesion of your essay. So again, it's another kind of a tip or strategy that will help you to get that higher band score. Okay, so this was the example that I gave in my previous body paragraph. A recent research study of 1,000 students in Australia revealed that learners whom engage in a minimum of 4 hours of weekly exercise not only spend at least 10 hours more on their studies, but also have an average of 1 point higher GPA. And now my second body paragraph is thousands of university students in Australia have gym memberships paid 6 months in advance and attend an hour of exercise regularly because they have made it an essential part of their morning routine. It is these same students who achieve higher scores on their GPA. Okay, so that's the connection. All right, so that's my second body paragraph, and now I have, of course, my conclusion left, but I'm running out of time. Students, it's quite tough to fit all of this content into one class, which is not a problem because tomorrow, members, we have a question and answer class. So I'm going to finish the conclusion after class today, and then I'll share it with you at the beginning of tomorrow's Q&A class so that if you have any questions about the conclusion and how to compose a good conclusion, you can ask me those questions tomorrow, okay? And I challenge you to do the same. So write a conclusion. You can share it with me tomorrow, and we can take a look at that, and I can give you some feedback on what you are doing well and what you can improve on, okay? So always take a moment to review your essay. Do that in the actual IELTS exam as well. And I highly, highly recommend regular exercise in your daily routine for the IELTS exam to improve your IELTS band scores also, because it is true that regular exercise leads to better academic performance. In the spirit of exercise and learning, we started this new kind of channel. It's a fun channel. It's called Fun Run. It's where you get to run around the world. I like jogging. I like swimming. I'm into exercise myself. I found that it is a very important part of my life for my overall happiness and success. And you can check out this channel when you have a minute and you want to do something a little bit different. Check out Fun Run. We pinned this URL to the top of the chat. And this channel is going to be purely for charity. So any money that we make with this channel, with this project, we're going to create scholarships for students who are studying internationally. So that's the plan for this. That's the goal for this, okay? I haven't mentioned that, but this is a charitable fitness channel, and it's going to be a charity fund for this channel. So check that out. Okay, everyone. That's it for this class, but I will be back in 30 minutes with writing task 1. We will be looking at a line graph for the academic IELTS. Of course, you can always check us out at aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Okay? All right. Absolutely, June. You're very welcome, Devansh. See you all soon. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria for now. See you shortly. Bye.